for fate.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
That was Lin-Manuel from Memphis.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and all things Hollywood here on the show. I'm your host, Christian, and as always, I'm joined by my trusty co-host, my partner in crime, my score reader, if you will, Devin. And we are here to give our thoughts about the latest film to hit Netflix, which is Lin-Manuel Miranda's directorial debut, and that is Tick, Tick, Boom. And before we begin today's show, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. If you're a new or seasoned listener to the show, we'd love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. But now, Devin, before we stop the clock here, it's going to be a bumpy ride. But I wanted to ask you before we go any further, how's your week been? How you been, man? You been playing some video games, watching some TV, chilling?
It's been a long week because next week is Thanksgiving. I took the week off. Just been waiting for that. It's just been taking forever.
Oh, so you have
We're
this
almost
week
there.
off. You have this week off or next week?
I have all of next week off.
Nice. Okay. That's what I did for Christmas a few years ago. It was pretty nice. So, yeah, I mean, we're almost there. We got one more work day, so hopefully.
And of course, we've been playing some Halo here and there because that had a nice shadow drop.
Yeah. I haven't been able to jump on just yet. I plan on doing it hopefully during the holiday time because it's just been crazy, with award season dropping all these episodes and whatnot, and just work in general, and just trying to keep everybody happy. I'm running out of time.
Maybe this movie will inspire you.
It actually has. It is this movie is very it's pretty relatable for sure. I feel like I never have enough time to do anything, which really sucks. But like I said before, we are going to be reviewing our Tick, Tick, Boom review. This film is, of course, like I said, directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and writers include Stephen Levenson and, of course, the late Jonathan Larson. This movie, the musical is based off by the musical, and stars Andrew Garfield, Alexandra Shipp, and Vanessa Hudgens. So, Devin, are you ready to get into our Tick, Tick, Boom review?
Tick, tick.
Tick, 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 boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with our Tick, Tick, Boom review right after this short break.
Hello. Hi. Welcome. I'm Jonathan Larson. I am 29 years old. I work at the Moondance Diner. Check. One sec. Do we take reservations? No, we do not take. We're a diner. I have an original rock musical
Hey, boy genius.
that I have spent the last 8 years of my life writing
It's getting out. You're gonna be rich and famous.
and rewriting.
Did you crack it yet?
Oh, I'm getting so close. And rewriting.
Can I hear it?
Any day now.
8 years! And the time keeps ticking. Tick, tick.
You need to ask, are you letting yourself be led by fear or by love?
Fear! 100% fear!
And we are back. Devin, stop the clock. Take time out. Man, oh man, this film was crazy. Let me read the plot synopsis for everyone today. I know we're doing things a little bit backwards today, but I figured I'd try to mix it up and see what works, Like, you can't just keep doing the same. You can't keep eating the same, bologna sandwich every single day for lunch. You got to mix it up after a while. So the plot is as follows. On the cusp of his 30th birthday, dun dun dun, a promising young
Just
theater.
like us.
Yeah. Oh, seriously, dude. Well, we'll get into it. Hold on one second. So, a promising young theater composer navigates love, friendship, and the pressures of life as an artist in New York City. So as I said before, this is Lin-Manuel Miranda's directorial debut. The man's been on fire this entire year. Like I said before, I believe it was in our was it Dear Evan Hansen review? Like this is the year for musicals. Like we've had so many music-based movies coming out this year, whether they be musicals or not, with the Ultimate Playlist of Noise. We had Coda, of course. We had In the Heights. We had Dear Evan Hansen, Tick Tick Boom. I saw Encanto a few days ago, and that was some good stuff. And then we have West Side Story coming out later on this year in December.
What was the other Netflix one? Vivo?
Yes, Vivo. Like Lin-Manuel has been killing it between In the Heights, Vivo, Tick Tick Boom, and Encanto. Like the man, like he's on fire. So just props.
This is his life. Tick tick, all the time.
Literally, and we'll get into it. But before we do, wanted to thank Netflix for allowing us to watch this film early, so we can get this out for you guys on release day. For everyone out there. So of course we will be going into more of a non-spoiler. We'll do a little bit of spoilers as well, but after you hear that little bad boy, so. Definitely. Devin, just give me your rundown of, actually, no, I want to go first this time because I have a lot to say, but this
clock's ticking.
Seriously though, you know what? I actually have, I'm going to put myself on a nice little timer here because this is kind of in the theme, in the mood. So, I thought that Tick Tick Boom was a fantastic film. One of Andrew Garfield's, honestly, his best performance. And I'm about to run out of time here, which is kind of the theme of the movie here. It's crazy to think how precious time is and how, with the late Jonathan Larson, for those of you who don't know, he was a film composer, was taken from us way too soon at the age of 35. Of course, he was the original composer for Tick Tick Boom, and if you haven't seen Rent, that was definitely all him. So this is based off of his first. Well, it tells the story of his first theater playwright with Suburbia. Superbia. Is it Superbia?
Yeah.
Superbia. And then, of course, Tick Tick Boom, and then Rent. So everything kind of ties together, but everything that happens in this film it's very, very moving. It as of right now is sitting at my number 2 of the year, and it has dethroned In the Heights. I loved In the Heights, but for In the Heights that we can't really speak on the same experiences as people, with In the Heights, with the Latinx community and whatnot. But us, turning 30 soon, we're right around that bend, man. It's crazy. And this is, of course, takes place in the 90s. And in 1990. Whew, we weren't around then. Yeah, we weren't around then. This is a few years shy, but it's just so crazy that everything that Jonathan Larson, played by Andrew Garfield, is going through. It's like he's just always on the move. He's like, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And honestly, I feel like I've been relating with that lately, especially with, everything that's been happening on the podcast and just constant drive to just keep going and going and going and going. And Andrew Garfield does a great job of, the character of Jonathan Larson may not be the best caring person in the world, but he knows what he wants. And, he's one of the last species of his kind. And, the whole, his whole story is just very interesting. Everyone's performance, from the music, it's like a rock, it's like a rock musical. And I'm like, okay, this is actually really nice. And I've been listening to the soundtrack on Spotify, and that will be in the description notes of this episode for sure. So definitely go check it out. I've been listening to it nonstop, much like I did for In the Heights. But of course, I wanted to kind of clear the air. Lin-Manuel Miranda he directed this. He did not write it. This is obviously not his. not his music. This is not his music, but I think he did a fantastic job, and this is one of the best movies of the year. So I'm going to pass it over to Devin so he can give his thoughts on Tick, Tick, Boom.
Oh boy, 30. What a year. What an age. I got a few more years to go, but you're definitely knocking on 30 still.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro. No.
Yeah, you'll be 29 for 11 years.
Exactly. See, that's the mindset we need to have.
But you mentioned earlier this is the year of the musicals. It's also the year, for me especially, the year of going in blind. We've had quite a few test cases here for going in blind to different movies. I'd say it started off with No Time to Die. That went great. It was perfect. It worked out very well. I love that movie. Then we did Sopranos. That one did not work out.
No. Well, so when you say going in blind, you mean you haven't seen
not knowing the source material or anything about it.
Okay,
I don't know. I didn't know anything about Jonathan Larson. I've never seen Rent. I don't know anything about any of that. So I went in completely blind. Then I also did that for Dune. That didn't work out for me. We did it for I did it for Cowboy Bebop. Decent mixed results. This one I went in blind, and it was incredible. I gotta say. Yeah. Andrew Garfield. Like I've not done any research into who the nominees are going to be for Best Actor, but after seeing this movie, I'm ready to wrap it up. Just give it to Andrew. Because he turned into Jonathan Larson. I don't even know who Jonathan Larson is, but you could just tell that he turned into this man and took the role and just ran with it. It was insane seeing. I didn't know he even had a good singing voice. Like he sounded like an angel. He did, and much like Hugh Jackman. I mean, there are a lot of actors who still do Broadway. I mean, obviously Andrew Garfield being from the UK, I didn't know he could sing either. I mean, obviously you have Vanessa Hudgens there. I mean, yeah, and she's. I wasn't surprised from her too. I thought she had a small role, but it was pretty impactful. She was a sassy one. Yeah, she kind of took more of the back seat for sure. But going back to Andrew Garfield's voice, like it was great. I was like, where did this come from? It literally surprised me. Even when I heard Hugh Jackman sing for the first time. I've never seen Les Mis yet. But growing up, I had a lot of theater friends growing up. So it's like a lot of this stuff kind of rubbed off on me. Little regret there not joining, the high school theater and stuff. But I was around it enough to appreciate it. And this movie just. I always love those memes of a group of theater kids in a Steak and Shake at 11 p.m. Yeah, pretty much. It's the craziest place you could ever be, apparently. That or, our hometown when you went to Handel's after every football game. It's like the whole town was there. It's like, it's crazy stuff. Get you some average ice cream. Yeah, you said average ice cream? I did. Handel's was taking shots at Handel's. It was the best. Nothing could beat Handel's. I'm sorry. Unless you're going Cold Stone. It has been a while. The Cold Stone's definitely the top. Oh, yeah. I think I think Handel's left our hometown. Then we had some kind of not ice cream shop, but frozen yogurt. And I think Handel's came back. I don't know if it's still there or not, but we'll definitely have to check that out. But going back to the review, it's, just everyone's performance in this was fantastic. And going in blind, I think it worked especially well for me here because there were quite a few twists and turns if we don't know his life story or what he ended up going through, because it gets pretty emotional. Yeah, and of course, being in the early 90s during the AIDS epidemic, and he was obviously big in the theater community where there's more so a population of gay men and women. He went through a lot with that, and it was very hard to watch some of it, but it definitely created some cool twists, not knowing where the story was going exactly. Yeah, I do agree with you there. Sorry, you cut off a little bit, but that's okay. It's, internet, whatever, doing a podcast remotely, you got to love it. But yeah, I do agree with you. It's very, it's in a point where I didn't know, I know who Jonathan Larson was. I knew he, wrote Rent, but I didn't know anything else after, before.
So like in a way, I did go into this blind. I mean, I was actually able to see this my first viewing in a theater, thanks to Netflix. I gotta say, Devin, like watching at home is amazing, but like watching this in the theater was, I mean, just the soundtrack itself was so catchy. And
that first song just hits so hard.
And
30, I think it's called.
It's called 3090.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust me, I know my stuff. So the first song that they play, 3090, it's very, it's about turning 30, and it's about being in the 90s, obviously, but more so like it's just the fact that it is in the 90s. So I feel like a lot of millennials are definitely going to relate with this, but it's all about time. Larson, he goes through this, and a lot of his friends have, been unfortunately, passing on, and you kind of see, he has this group of friends, and, some have left his life, some have stuck around, but and especially in New York City, like this, it's like a love letter to like a starving artist. And he literally was a starving artist in this. It's not the whole, like we see this person, going like high strung on drugs. It wasn't anything like that, but he knew what he wanted, like I said before, and he just had this drive to just keep going and to like just never stop. And he put all of his eggs into one basket, which is fantastic. And then
yeah, and I just love the internal turmoil it caused. Like he's trying to balance obviously becoming a major playwright, being a good boyfriend, being a good friend to all of his friends that are currently dying and just dropping all around him.
Yeah,
and he just kind of struggles with that, and it makes him break down. Yeah,
I mean, especially with with his the flame that he has, it's maintaining those relationships, very, very difficult to do. A very, very difficult thing to do, especially, he has this big, workshop coming up. He's been working on this play for 8 years of his life. So it's like, I mean, that's a long time, but honestly, that is life of an artist. I mean, nowadays it seems that, things just come out, but it's like, obviously this production of this movie, has been there for a while. It's not just like Lin woke up beginning of this year, this is what we're going to do today, and just, no, like, I mean, a lot of this stuff takes time. Like you are either working, depending on how big you are working on multiple projects, and it may seem that, it's easy, but it really shows how much work goes into a play, let alone that you can kind of translate that into content, for us, for our podcasts, or even for YouTubers. People just see the end result and they're like, man, that's amazing. It's like, yeah, it's like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get there, especially for theater. It is an unforgiving experience from time to time. You really just see that and you feel that. It's like, hey, we always joke about the definition of a starving artist, and me living in Nashville, like I pretty much see it every day, where there's hundreds and hundreds of people here who want to become like the next Ed Sheeran or just the next big thing overall, and they work hard at it. I've been to a lot of my friends' rehearsals, and the work pays off, and that's what Jonathan Larson, Andrew Garfield's character, him as portraying more kind of like a biopic in a way. But it didn't market itself as biopic, which is what I really like about it. But I wonder,
it's the play that he kind of wrote about his own life.
Yeah, right.
I was actually confused. Like towards the beginning, I was confused as to what the songs were. I thought in the beginning, I thought they might have been from Rent, but then I went on to realize that this is a different play, Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah, that
he wrote as kind of a one-man show, but then he added two of his good friends to it.
Yeah, and I like how the movie later on kind of, because they touch on his life. It's not like a full biopic, but it, like I said, it wasn't marketed as that. But I really like the direction that they took with this, and this is one of the biggest surprises of the year. I knew nothing about this. I just knew that Lin-Manuel Miranda was directing something called Tick Tick Boom. I didn't even look into it. I was like,
I loved him splicing in different scenes from the actual show with his actual life and splicing them throughout, intertwining them.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to ask you, Devin. I mean, I've been listening to the soundtrack a lot myself, but what was the one song that kind of like caught your eye? Like, well, I guess what was your favorite song so far? Like out of
I mentioned earlier, 3090 really just gets you started off right. I mean, that really gets you into the mindset of what he's thinking, what he's feeling, and it's very relatable.
Yeah, it's
Except not 90.
Yeah,
What would ours be? 30 20? 30
Yeah.
20s?
30-20, yeah, because he turned 30 in the 90s or on 1990 or in 1990, excuse me. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that the entire soundtrack is great. Like 3090, obviously, it's great. I love Boho Days. No More is like I love that song so much.
That's the girlfriend one, right?
No, that is that's the one where it is Andrew Garfield and his friends, the shorter guy.
Oh yeah, Michael.
Yeah, Michael, excuse me. I was trying to tiptoe on spoilers, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to get into it for a little bit. But yeah, him and Michael are singing about not living in a crappy apartment anymore, and then moving on up, to to the east side. For sure.
Come to Your Senses is the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Come to Your Senses, yeah. And then I like Johnny Can't Decide. Sunday's okay. I think Therapy is my favorite.
The scene for Sunday was really interesting. I mean, we're not going to spoil it, but it's like it's for theater people how I imagine the Avengers Endgame portal scene was for us. Like,
yeah, I mean, it really
all those
does.
Cameos. I only recognized a couple of them, but I'm sure they were all very notable people.
Oh yeah, there's so many cameos in this movie. It's like it's a Lin-Manuel.
That's the theater equivalent of a portal scene.
Yeah,
that diner scene.
Oh, for sure, like 100%. But yeah, the therapy one where it's just Vanessa and Garfield. He's like, it's the small little kind of country-esque type acoustic during the swimming was really pretty cool. Come to Your Senses. I think Why is very, very powerful as well. And then it's the entire soundtrack is like crazy. It's crazy good. I mean, I don't know if I can put it up against. I mean, because In the Heights is like, I don't know. They're both very different. So I don't know if I can really compare them, because I mean, I love In the Heights. Like, it's very, very catchy. I love the lyrics, the very clever writing. But I feel like with this, it just hits me a little bit more because it is more relatable for me as a person, because I'm not Latinx at all. But I don't know. It's all crazy. And then, of course, the Louder Than Words, good stuff. The closer song for sure. But I really like how in the entire show, it's him performing Tick Tick Boom, but kind of like, what did you think about the I guess between the time jumps, essentially, because it starts with his one-man show and then it kind of goes back and forth between him telling that story.
Yeah, like I mentioned in the beginning, like I mentioned before, it was definitely confusing at first, but then as it goes on, then you kind of see what is happening. It makes more sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I initially thought like these rock type songs were from Rent, because I've never seen Rent, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know either. And like, I've never seen Rent myself. I mean, I know of it, but I've never seen it. So, but yeah, kind of want to throw it back over to you. Was there anything else you wanted to kind of touch on that we haven't? I know we're dancing around spoilers.
Looks like I was correct here, because 3090 has like 3 times the amount of plays as any other song.
Oh yeah, it does. With 332,000,
and then Louder Than Words has like 130.
I was a big contributor to those, for sure. But yeah, I think
And this is before the movie's even out yet. So
yeah.
blowing up soon.
This came out before. As of this recording, it's been out for like a week or two, for sure. But yeah, it's just a great film. And if you're a theater nerd or just a big Andrew Garfield fan, big Vanessa Hudgens or Lin-Manuel, like he does such a great job with this direction. It's just so wholesome and powerful. Like it really does feel like a love letter to people who are millennials. So it's
like I said, I'm starting the Andrew Garfield campaign right here, right now.
So
Best
Andrew
actor,
Garfield. So you want
2021.
Andrew Garfield to be in the Spider-Man movie is what you're saying.
Well, that's already, there's no debating that.
Did you see the video I posted on Instagram? It was kind of like a combination between Incredibles and the close-up shot of Lizard, and like it shows that like something hits
it's a John Cena punch.
Yeah, he's like, he moves right there. Coincidence? I think not. That I watched that for at least 50 times yesterday, and I couldn't stop laughing. But yeah, definitely congratulations to Lin-Manuel Miranda for just making such a phenomenal adaptation. And I would love to see more from him, to be completely honest. I'm very, very curious to see what else he has up his sleeve. And like I said, Andrew Garfield killed it. He just did. Like,
and it was so cool, the end credits, seeing the actual footage of Jonathan Larson, seeing how similar they actually were.
Yeah,
like they got the wardrobe down exactly. He does. Andrew Garfield doesn't look exactly like him, but the hair is like right on.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like it's so hard to find someone to play someone in the role where it's like, hey, you kind of look like that person. Like, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, I'm sorry, it looks nothing like Johnny Cash whatsoever, but did a great job. But yeah, Andrew Garfield, definitely like awards prospects wise. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like this year. I mean, Netflix has their hand in that bag when it comes to the award season now. And, they've won for other awards in the past when it comes to, either the Oscars or the Golden Globes. I don't think that's coming around for a while. So let's get into scores here really quick. Devin, what would you give Tick, Tick, Boom?
I'll go with a 93.
93? Okay.
So, yeah, it's pretty impressive. I was definitely blown away.
Yeah. And for me, I literally have zero bad things to say about this, especially with Michael's character and his path. It's just so powerful. And I have nothing bad to say about this movie. I really don't. And like, that's not even me just like coming off of a high. Like I've seen it twice now. Definitely going to see it again when it hits Netflix. By the time you guys are listening to this, you should be watching it right after you listen to this, of course. But I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Rotten Tomatoes. So that is like an A+, like 100. Like this is a 100% movie. Like 100. Like this, I think my first time ever giving 100 out of 100. But like, I really, really enjoyed this. And it's whew, gotta love it. And I hope we get a physical release of this, to be completely honest. I really, really do. So yeah, 100 out of for me, and then a 95. Did you say 93? 93. I'm sorry. So 93 from Devin, 100 out of 100 for me. Definitely go watch this. By the time this is out, it's already out on Netflix, so you should be plopping your little butts on the couch right after work, whether it's on your lunch break or anything. Just watch it with the family. It's great.
Just a little under 2 hours. It's
yes,
nice,
and the
nice
pacing,
time.
which actually I almost forgot to talk about as well. But yeah, it's like an hour and 55 minutes, and honestly, second watch blows right by. It's fantastic, but. That pretty much concludes our review of Tick, Tick, Boom. Of course, that is hitting Netflix on November 19th. So at the time of this recording, if you're listening to this now, it is out, as I said before. So what is coming up on the podcast, you might ask? We have so much. We're winding down with a few things. We have our Ghostbusters Afterlife review that'll hit November 22nd. that Monday. And then we have our Hawkeye review the day before Thanksgiving. Episodes 1 and 2 will be dropping, so Devin and I will be covering those as well on November 24th. And then we have our Deathly Hallows, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 review that will be dropping on Black Friday, November 26th. So we got 3 reviews for you guys next week. And then topping off our Harry Potter review, we'll be doing Deathly Hallows Part 2, which will drop on December 3rd. And then we'll be done. It really feels like yesterday when we started this thing, but those are our 3 reviews coming up this week. Again, thank you, Netflix, for sending this to us so we can get our review out for you guys out there early. So we're going to close out here, and we hope you guys have a lovely, lovely weekend. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one.